Good morning, wherever you're watching. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. We are back again on another edition. Yesterday we promised you we'll be back here on another episode, on another edition of This Morning. And I am joined by Mr. Mamadou Mboj. Mboj, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim.
And of course, as usual on the program, we'll be doing the African proverb. We'll be looking at the African proverb and of course, do the newspaper review. And Mr. Malik Kah, it's here with us already in the studio, who will be reviewing the newspapers with us. And on Community Watch, we'll be talking to NEA, National Environment Agency, and on so many things, the things that they've been doing and the ban on sniper insecticide. As you know, recently we've seen a whole lot of messages being sent on social media and on television banning the sniper insecticide, and we'll be asking them why and how are they doing that. And of course, on social issues, we will be talking to Mr. Pap Seka, Director General, Standards Bureau. I mean, Standards Bureau is an institution that is set by Parliament to make sure they set standards in this country. So it's important. We'll be talking to Pap Seka, the Director General. He's already in the building, but later we'll be having him on this desk. And then we'll have entertainment with Buba Fati, that's Click segment. But first of all, we'll go straight to the African proverb, which reads, rising early makes the road short. Rising early makes the road short. And Mr. Boyd, that's the African proverb we have for today.
Yes. When you have to go to work in the morning, we all know that literally. I mean, the earlier I come, perhaps there wouldn't be much traffic. But there's a particular time from, for instance, Kololi to, to Kairaba Avenue. It can feel like it's taking a very, very long time. So on that level, we experience it every day. You know, when you go early, there isn't much traffic. It seems as if the distance has shortened. But other times the traffic is so long and it takes such a long time. Just on that level, I appreciate this.
Well, I mean, people might connect this to traffic or any other thing. But when you look at it, it means more than connecting it to the traffic.
Oh, there are different levels.
It's telling you in your life you need to prepare very early. Sometimes you will hear the famous saying, Wolof Njai Munelane, Sarongoñ bu bariwut danga tela joy. So all these things, you know, they connect to the same thing. It's telling you do the right things at the right time, or do them early. You know, you have to prepare yourself early. I don't know what Mr. Carr thinks of this program.
Well, for me, the interpretation is like you have to you accomplish a lot if you start very early. Like if you have a long day, a lot of things to do, the earlier you get it started and finish it, like the early birds catches the worm. So this is just an expression, you know, connoting that you have to be on top of things before they get out of, you know, hand. So be prepared. The sooner you prepare, the more you accomplish, and that is for me the meaning.
Yes, you got it there. The sooner you prepare, the earlier you accomplish. I mean, absolutely, that's right. You know, one thing about African proverbs, sometimes some of them are very difficult to interpret, but some of them are very easy to interpret. Even a school-going child, if you tell him this, he will understand the meaning behind this.
You see, with these things, it's the elasticity of it. This is the nature of proverbs. You can apply in so many different contexts. This is it. It is quite versatile. That is why they are wonderful. That's why they are timeless. In many ways, some of them are quite timeless because of this inbuilt versatility and can apply in different situations and the like.
Absolutely. That's the African proverb for you. And viewers, you're reminded you're watching QTV This Morning. And I am with Mr. Mamadou Mboj. That's the African proverb. If you're just tuning in, well, it's the African proverb have already been dealt with. We'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll go straight to the newspaper review. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Kah will be, it's already here with us. We will be doing the newspaper review with him. We'll be back.
Your favorite QCell service has gotten bigger. eFunkanta. Now you can loan bigger credit amounts to make life easier for you. Loan $75 and $100 and pay later. Yes, you heard me right. Get credit loan from $10 to $100 using IFA Kanta by dialing *393#. Anytime you run out of credit, whether you want to buy Q Power, browse the internet, make urgent calls, or send SMS. IFA Kanta is the service for you. Dial *393# and choose the loan amount of your choice with no hassle. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus, the pioneers of mobile loan service in the Gambia. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions.
We are back again. And you're watching QTV this morning. Like I mentioned before the break, we'll be looking at the newspaper review. And we have Mr. Ka already here with us. We'll read some of the headlines of the newspapers, then we go straight to the newspaper review. And this is the Point newspaper. It reads, Barrister explains Jammeh cannot be tried at The Hague. And of course, women journalists says gender stereotypes still exist in newsrooms. Gambia, Equatorial Guinea sign accords to build diplomatic tie trade. And of course, we also have MPC decides to increase monetary policy rate by 1%. That's what we have on the Point newspaper. Mr. Boy, take us through the
Yes,
voice.
here I've got the voice on the front page. The main splash, as it were, is Gambia is not poor, but Gambians are poor in thinking, says Sidi Ajata. I'm sure we will delve into that later. And on the top left, we've got the implementation of the TRRC report is going to be a long process, says S.R. Jallo, the journalist. And on the right, top right-hand corner, you've got Mayor Lowe urges politicians to put Gambia's interest first. And then right at the bottom, Governor Sadie, that's Buya Sadie of Central Bank, warns against asking for foreign currencies to buy goods. And right at the bottom, access to safe drinking water and sanitation is a fundamental human right. And Equatorial Guinea registered interest in Gambia groundnuts. Which is what we have.
Well, okay, interesting. We'll be looking at the Point and Voice today. And of course, Mr. Ka is already here with us. Mr. Ka, first of all, I'd like us to start with Gambia, Equatorial Guinea sign accords to build diplomatic ties and trade. What do you think Gambia is going to benefit? Because it's important whenever you're going into an MOU with a particular country. I think it's important for you to look at the interest. Some of the things mentioned on the paper is consultations, diplomatic consultations. And of course, Equatorial Guinea, it's a country that consumes a lot of groundnut. And Gambia is going to provide that. So what do you think? I mean, how are you saying this?
Well, bilateral relations are forged based on a number of reasons, obviously, because countries have different interests and different stakes. Obviously, Equatorial Guinea is one of the most rich countries that you can have in that part of the world, and Gambia may have interest in some of the resources that they may be able to assist us with. They do have a lot of minerals deposited there, and since they have interest also, and also the African countries have to promote intra-African trade as well amongst themselves so as to boost, because now we have experienced shortages of commodities or items in different countries. But a lot of countries do have different things. So if we are engaged in such bilateral and multilateral relationships, then we will be able to see what we can offer each other. I think it would be beneficial to both countries if they have something to offer to each other.
Well, you've mentioned something very important, and it really caught my attention. That is inter-African trade. I mean, we have like trade between us and other African countries, but it proves to be a little bit difficult?
Yeah, it's a challenge. A lot of protocols have been signed, but they, like we always say, it's about implementation, and this is where we are always short when it comes to African countries, and this is really affecting us in many ways. If you look at the EU, it was constructed as a trading community, and it has blossomed and grown. If you look at the trade that they do amongst themselves, it's massive, but if you take the trade that we do amongst ourselves, African countries at the sub-regional and the EU level, is very minimal, and we produce a lot of raw materials. So therefore, it's time that we are very sincere in constructing something that is beneficial to the people. Unless and until we start addressing the needs of the people, then we will not be anywhere. And trade is one thing that can definitely accommodate and improve the life standards of the people.
When you look at Guinea Equatorial, some of the interest they have in the Gambia, they have mentioned it on the paper, and it's crystal clear. That is the groundnut. I mean, that the Gambia, groundnut is known to be our export crop. And what should be done behind here, I mean, to make sure we provide enough? I mean, I can remember we invited GGC, they were here the other time. They said farmers should, I mean, cultivate more groundnut, at least to meet the demand of the international market.
Yeah, obviously you have to sell a product because you need money, you know, to buy other things. But Gambia also should look to broadening its agricultural base to look at other areas, not just focus as a groundnut as a monocrop on which we just depend to make, you know, money. There are lots of things that Gambia can also produce in the agricultural sector that we can export to other countries. But for now, that is the main area that we are focused on. But we have to diversify. It's about time we diversify, looking into the production of other things such as rice, cotton we used to produce around URR, and lots of other areas we need to be explored so that, you know, we can expand our trade and then realize the benefits of it. We should not be monoculture in terms.
Let's move to Mr. Mboj's newspaper. I can see Sidia Jata said Gambia is not poor, but the way we cogitate, I mean, the way we think, I mean, we are poor in cogitating.
The way we cogitate, oh, Bala, you will never disappoint. It's a curious sort of sweeping statement, and with these things, I tend to be naughty about these things. I say, okay, let me follow the logic. You are a Gambian. Are you also poor in thinking? You see, when you make such sweeping statements, then you find yourself caught in it, as it were. Let's be honest with ourselves. The whole democracy, our whole political organization is merely a process. The outcome of the process will depend on what people do. You know what I mean? And we have to respect what people do. Really, this is the nature of democracy. This is how it works. I mean, sometimes we are tempted to say that, look at the quality of people in public service. How many times have you heard it beat in the National Assembly or anywhere else? They're not that good. I'm not sure here what you're saying. You know what I mean? If you want a certain caliber, why don't you go and contest? It is in the nature of democracy and party politics, perhaps, it attracts certain people, as it were. But whatever decisions are taken, you have to accept. It doesn't guarantee you the best choice. No,
exactly.
It doesn't guarantee you anything.
Mr. Carr, you can come in here. What do you think of what Sidia Jata said on this paper?
Yeah, it's an opinion statement, and he's saying that, you know, but when it comes to a country like what you're saying, democracy is about the mindset of the people, and the people that also contest, put themselves for contest, and people make the decision based on a number of factors. There are a lot of things that influence people in their judgment of selecting an individual. So it's a very relative kind of argument that is, you know, an opinionated piece.
Exactly. And of course, let's take a look at women journalists here. Gender stereotypes still exist in newsrooms. I mean, well, it's news to me. I mean, I don't think, for what I've seen, I don't know.
I think every newsroom should have policies there that will ensure that they are gender protected, especially the female, from harassment, from other type of, you know, I mean, that is the role and responsibility of not just the media, but every institution for that matter. And there are laws and regulations that are put in place that should ensure, you know, the protection of female anywhere they are in terms of their working. They should be able to work and operate anywhere, you know, without any hindrance or kind of harassment. So I think that should be something.
But don't you think, I mean, we also have the way people, like the way people portray things, I mean, the female, sometimes they tend to think they are being segregated due to their
maybe
gender.
it's just the experience that they've been going through in terms of society, so that has to be corrected in many ways, and I think corrective measures are being taken, conversations, education, enlightening the people to understand that people have to walk and operate in an atmosphere that is fair, you know, and not gender biased. You know, the people that have the ability or the capability to discharge their duties and responsibilities are recognized and then duly operate. So I think that is an equitable demand that is understandable and accepted by any reasonable person, I presume.
Okay. For me, my question was really, what really does she mean by that? Is it that in the newsroom, maybe editors tend to decide that maybe with certain stories, women are better at it, or to present certain programs, that's for men? I don't quite understand what she means by gender stereotyping exists. If you're talking about your colleagues, our attitudes, we all know our patriarchal background. We will deal with that. But whether structurally, whether, you know, editors think like that, I'm not quite sure what she means there.
All right, let's take a look at the front headline of the Point newspaper. Barrister explains Jammeh cannot be tried at The Hague. Last week there was a newspaper that reads Jammeh will be tried, you know, at The Hague. But we are having another paper that reads Jammeh cannot be tried at The Hague. Yeah. Although they have given reasons, they said The Hague cannot try atrocities committed between 1994 to the year 2000.
Well, for me, regardless of where Jammeh would be tried, for me, I just want a trial so that he can answer to the crimes that he's committed. And whether it's in The Hague or a special type of court is being set up to try him, as was the case with Hissène Habré or others. For me, these are just arguments that are neither here nor there. The essence of what we want is the trial to take place so that he will be answerable to the crimes that he have committed in the Gambia for the period that he was here. So whether it's Hague, Gambia, Senegal, or anywhere, let justice take its course. Let Jammeh answer to the crimes that he committed. So this argument can be for the legal luminaries who will argue about the legality of this and that, but that's fine. At the end of the day, those things must have to pop up because we are dealing with the white paper, and all these legal minds will have different opinions, and that's the beauty of, you know, the legal fraternity. You cannot have one idea. They will contest it until it is resolved one way or the other.
That's it. But the one I've heard, then we start to decide which one sounds more persuasive. I think what this gentleman is referring to is like about the Rome Statute. I think it actually came into force. This is to do with the ICC, the mandate, in 2002. But again, we discussed this on radio, but again, I got a text immediately from Abdullah Fatih, the lawyer. He said, yes, but at The Hague, it doesn't necessarily have to be under ICC. There can be a special court for the Gambia.
Court, yeah.
Exactly. Just as they did with Charles Taylor. When Charles Taylor did his crimes, that was a long time ago, 2002, but still they tried him there. So there are all sorts of arrangements we can have with the ICC, and then they can be tried there, and it will all have the
because some crimes do not have statute of limitation. I mean, he will be dealt with at any point in time. There is no statute of limitation on some crimes.
But we've also seen Essa Jallow saying it takes a process for Jammeh and his co to be tried.
Oh, it will take a long time. That is without doubt. First, we have to establish the institutional frameworks. Remember what's been announced, for instance, the Special Prosecutor's Office and others, and the special
Evidence
courts,
as well.
that's it, and the preparation. I mean, it's going to take a long time, particularly with Jammeh. We still haven't, he's not in our custody. How long would it take for us to get that? So we have to adjust our expectations to the reality.
It takes a process. And Mr. Ka, I'll just want you, for you to also give us what you think. I mean, the TRRC white paper, there was a time here, we invited one of the CSOs, he was here with us. She said, I mean, the issue of amnesty, people like Sana Sabali are not qualified to be given amnesty. Because at some point, Sana Sabali stands at a very critical situation. He is a victim and a perpetrator. So at the same time, when he was giving his testimony, he did not feel any remorse. He did not show any remorse.
Well, we task the TRRC as a responsible body to look into all those things and then come up with recommendations, and that is precisely what they did. And in their recommendations, based on the judgment and the evidence that was submitted before them as professionals, they came to the conclusion that they would be. But then the government rejected that. So when people say that the government have accepted everything, there are certain things that, you know, maybe it resonates with the general mindset of the people at large, because they already, Sana has committed a lot of crimes, and then he was being seen as somebody that cannot be exonerated from those, and then the recommendation was the other way around, and then the government stepped up and put its foot down and say, no, we are not going to accept this recommendation. We feel that the guy should face justice because he should face justice because of the atrocities he has committed. And this have resonated with a lot of people, especially the victims, you know, to whom Sana have participated in murdering or killing their family members. So I think they are very excited, and one can understand the position of the state in this particular instance. It may look at odds against what the TRRC commissioners have advised, but that is the situation as it stands.
Let's take a look at reparations, Mr. Ka. Reparations can be in any form. People might think sometimes when you talk about reparation, people have the mental picture of monetary reparation.
Well, the thing with reparations is you cannot satisfy everybody, because you cannot compensate monetary against life. So there is no measure which, you know, will compensate that you took in my father's life, so it's worth such an amount. So it's just a kind of token kind of amount that will appreciate that, you know, this has been committed against you or your family, so we are going to give this as a matter of compensation. And also support. Reparation can come in different ways, like if you are having some medical issues and conditions, they give you support to take you somewhere, you know, to give you the medical attention that is required in order to give you back your, at least a semblance of life. So there are a lot of issues that you'll have to look into when it comes. And also the size of the pot, because there is not a limitless kind of amount that the government will have, and so they will have support in terms of selling the assets of Jammeh, for instance, the Potomac House, when it's gotten rid of, and the money should go straight to the pot of the victims. And there are certain type of assets that when they are disposed of should go to the pot of the victims for reparations. I think I really agree and support that, and they can look other areas where also they can get funding in order to add to the pot. You already see the Ghanaians are not happy with what is given to them. They are already claiming that it's too small, because they were making comparison as to ECOWAS compensations, what they are giving. But these are things that the government have to be very sensitive about and take into account. But surely the assets that Jammeh have acquired illegally while he's doing, they should be sold off and then put into the pot for reparations.
Well, few weeks ago, the Victim Center express their dissatisfaction of certain things that happen, in the government. But we have also seen the Victim Center coming out, showing appreciation of the government or the government's white paper. What do you think of this?
Well, I think nobody have, if you implement 90-something% of recommendations given to you, I don't think anybody can go against that. And that is precisely what the government, being mindful of how sensitive, people are towards Jammeh and the atrocities, I think they did the right thing. They've been wisely advised and they've taken up the advice, and that I think have really consoled the victims and the victim center to the extent that they are happy about the outcome and the position of the government.
Mr. Boj, that's it for the newspaper review. Thank you very much, Mr. Ka, for coming on this platform. We'll try to get you here again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Viewers, be reminded, this is QTV This Morning. If you're just tuning in, well, you can go to our website. You can follow all the things discussed here. We'll take a short break. After the break, then Community Watch will be talking to NEA ban on sniper insecticide. We'll be back.
Style 2022 loolu laa wax de man waaw kay boo gisee nag ñu di ko waajal depuis léegi dañoo bëgg nag yokku cere dolli ñeex li ko waral nag QTV dañu bëgg saa yu ñuy def dara képp ku ci nekk rek gis ci sa bopp moo waral nag this time ñu bëgg koo yokku nag yaatal ko nag géew bi nag dañu ko yaatal ba mu yaatu lool ba tax ñu ngi woo designers yépp ci biir réew mi waaye yow mi nekk sax bitim réew bëgg ñu wane nag say product jokkal ak QTV da ci am solo nag bu baax a baax ba tax nag ki nga xamante ne piis day jaay ci marché bi bëgg naa wane ay piisam ak ay xeetu piis yi mu yor ñëwal ci biir Tobaski ak Style 2022 moom la ñuy waajal xanaa war naa neex dama ne nag kaay leen ngeen won ma seen mënin ma wax leen seeni cumbukaay ba tax nag jokkoo leen ak ñun ci nu mu gën a gaawee ci 32 44 44 4 ak QTV ak Tobaski ak Style yéen ñi rek ñu tax toog yow rek ci jongama cey.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, we are back again on another edition of. We are back again on this on another segment. I apologize. I am the one that made the fallibility here. It should not have been the community watch, but we'll go straight to social issues. We'll be talking to Papa Seka, Director General, Gambia Standards Bureau, and Papa is already with us in the studio. Well, Standards Bureau. It's an institution that I wanted to know for a very long time. What are their mandates? I mean, I've been anxious to invite them in the studio. And today we have the managing director himself. But I'll give you what Standard Bureau is. The Gambia Standard Bureau, as the national standard body of the Gambia, was established to standardize, test, and certify methods and products produced or consumed in the country. And we have the Director General here. He will take us through the things that they do. Mr. Seka, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here, sir. Take us through what the Standard Bureau does.
The Gambia Standards Bureau was established by an act of Parliament in 2010, and its principal objective, according to the Act, is to standardize products, services, systems, and for connected matters. I'll go into connected matters. They are the other pillars of what is collectively called the national quality infrastructure. So in the Act also, we were given the responsibility, apart from developing standards and standardizing products and services, methods and systems, we've also been given the responsibility of performing what is generally called conformity assessment services. These are services that are very essential to the development and growth of any economy, but they are also indispensable in ensuring that the safety and the health of the citizens are assured at all times. So collectively there are three main activities which are interlinked, and that is they are inspection, testing, and certification. You see, they are interlinked because one leads to the other. You are expected to inspect and sample to be able to test for conformity, because the main objective is to find out if the product you are looking at, if it's a product or a system, is really conforming to the requirements that are obligatory for it to conform to it, if it is a requirement by law or a requirement through a contract or whatever it might be. So in order to do that, you must test to find out, because the criteria for the testing and the requirements are all embodied in the standard. So you'll see again that the basis of even that are the standards. And when you test now, you have the results. Based on the results, you'll be able to certify whether they are conforming to the requirements or not. And that is a very important decision-making tool at every level, from businesses, from government, the courts of law, whatever endeavor that you may be involved in, even in international trade. And the third one, which is another pillar of the national quality infrastructure, which the Act tells us or require us to do, is what is called metrology. Metrology is the science of measurement, and it's really the foundation of human endeavor. You know, there is nothing you can think of that doesn't have some element of measurement. Yeah, so over the years, what has happened before the establishment of the Bureau, we could say essentially the Gambia was cut off from the international framework of measurement system, because it is a system that is linked, that provides an assurance framework all over the world, and that is what is generally called traceability. So if you do not have a metrology outfit to be able to demonstrate that your measurement system is linked to the international measurement system, you cannot actually prove any validity in all your measurements that you do. Just as a simple example, we all talk about the kilogram, for example, which is a standard measurement unit of weight, and you also have the meter, which is a standard measurement of standard unit of measurement for length. Now, if you do not have the traceability, meaning that you have some very high accuracy standards within the country to prove that you are linking it to the international kilogram or the international meter, there is no way you can demonstrate that your measurement system is valid. And that's extremely important, because it is what actually is the foundation and the support for not only international trade, but also research and development, industrial growth, health and safety, wherever, you know, whatever construction, whatever endeavor that the country is involved in. So that's the third pillar, and the other are related to all of these activities, that is promotion of those standards if you develop them, research and development to be able to see the relevance or to be able to get feedback on the implementation of the standards. So these things collectively are what is now generally called in the standardization field as the national quality infrastructure. So these are the mandates which are embodied in the Gambia Standards Bureau Act.
Okay, you talked about safety, you talked about standards and quality, but at some point the mental picture that I am having right now, it's giving me something that have to do with duplication of efforts. Is there any point that you and food safety you work together to collaborate to carry out a particular operation? Is there any point that you collaborate? But it's like some of the things that you're telling us here, sort of food safety is doing the same thing.
That's a very good question, and I'm glad that you mentioned it, because we keep clarifying our rules, I mean, it's good that I'm also given the opportunity once again to really clarify our different rules. You see, standards are cross-cutting. We affect all sectors and all endeavors, be it food, be it construction, be it information technology, be it security, governance, financial management, financial services, telecommunications, environment, name it. We are relevant there because the support and the basis of all of these things are standards. And the world have been working tirelessly to develop these standards over the years. And there is a standard for everything imaginable on earth, right? Now, in the area of food, you see, government has to prioritize and say, I think these things are important to me, so important for the protection of the safety and health, the well-being of my citizens, that I will set up a specific body to ensure that those things are done on my behalf. So that is why government sets up certain regulatory bodies to be able to ensure that these requirements, or I would say government responsibilities, are taken care of. So in the area of food, they set up a specific regulatory body and called it Food Safety and Quality Authority that has been established, I think 2012 or so, and gave them the specific responsibility in their act to ensure that food that is produced, consumed, or imported into the country is safe and healthy for the people's consumption. That's food, all right? So they're the regulator. Now, our interface with them is like this. The regulator requires that every food establishment or every food product that is imported into the country or every food product that is destined to be exported to the country must be what? Safe and healthy. All right? Now, you, the person who is required to do that as an entity, enterprise, SME, whatever industry, now you'll be cracking your head. How do I ensure that these particular food that I finally produce from my facility has met these requirements? Otherwise, the law will be on top of me. All right? That's where the Gambia Standards Bureau comes in. We are a facilitator because this has been a headache for government all these years before the Standards Bureau has been set up. You need an entity to support, if it is in the area of food, the requirements for them to ensure that they are meeting the law. All right? It's the same thing when it comes to construction. That is not the purview of food safety. Food safety is just food, as an example. But it's the same thing when it comes to environmental requirements. It's the same thing when it comes to petroleum requirements, where, Pura is taken care of. So now we support the enterprises. We help them. What is the standard for me to produce food that is safe and healthy from my enterprise? We have the HACCP, for example, or we have the good hygienic practices. All of those standards have been developed along with them at the Bureau. And we say, here is the standard. You can apply them, and once you do it correctly, you are assured that the food that you produce will be safe and of good quality. All right? Now, how do the enterprise will be saying, well, I have some few staff, and I don't know how to go about it. That's why we build our capacity to support them with training, with coaching and things like that, which we are doing a lot over the years. Because the international best practice makes sure that the entity that is asking you to do, requiring you to do a certain thing which is mandatory by law, shouldn't be the entity to actually maybe train you or support you, because at the end of the day, if you do not do it right, and I come over here and say you didn't do it right, you can easily tell me, well, you are the one who told me this is the way I should do it, right? Isn't it? So best practice delineates the regulator from the person who is actually assisting. So that is why we interface. That's our difference. They are the regulator for food. We are the facilitator in terms of standards. Not only that, all their regulations, best practice requires that all their regulations are based on the relevant standards in the area of food. So that if you are requiring me to adhere to your requirements, I should know the basis. Fair enough. So if you put the basis as standards, I'm able to access them, I'm able to use them. And there is very clear transparency in how the framework or the regulatory work is done. So that is our interface with the food safety, that is our interface with all the other regulatory bodies, be it NEA, be it PURA, be it physical planning, whatever. Thank you.
This is the key. Let me just come in. Of course, this takes us right into the heart of the difference between standards and regulation. So the regulatory body, so essentially they will take the standards and turn that into regulation.
Perfect.
That sort of thing, isn't it?
That's how it happens.
Yes, is
Perfect.
recommendatory.
Yes, exactly.
But with regulations, it's obligatory.
Obligatory.
So
Correct.
here, then
Very
I
right.
wonder, how far, because your job is cross-cutting, as you said, every sector, how far have you gone in standardizing that, everything that we need to standardize? How far have you gone in that? Would there be, for instance, the news? Let's take news. We're offering services. Have you got standards for how newspapers or newsrooms should operate?
Certainly. We do. I will take you down to the whole process of standards development for to better understand where we are and the process that we follow. What we did was, at the beginning, you have to prioritize because resources are scarce, capacity is scarce, and it's not everything that you bring on board, and maybe they are not immediately usable. Because the good thing about the way we do work ourselves and all over the world, the national standards bodies, is we are all members of an international standard setting bodies. And all the standards are there available to us. As members, we can access them. So anybody who needs any particular standard, we can easily access them and make it available. But then there are certain standards that we prioritize and develop or adopt at the country level. All right? And we set up technical committees where each technical committee will be composed of all the members that have some stake in that particular sector, in that particular work. And so far we have about 15 different technical committees. Okay, the prioritization started that way, and we immediately, the food of course is a big priority. It was the first standards technical committee we established, and then we went on to establish other technical committees in other areas. Afterwards, in 2018, we went further and developed what is called a national standardization strategy. And in that strategy, we involved everybody in the country, all stakeholders, to give us their priority areas of standardization. So now we have a framework that we can base our work, that these are priority standards, and that's where we are lifting our standardization work. That notwithstanding, we are also required sometimes by government, immediate need that we have to respond to. For example, when the bread crisis came about in 2-3 years ago, we asked to develop a standard on bread, which we did. And the good hygienic practices, code of practice for bread from the production all the way to transportation and use. We have that also for the bakeries. You understand? So these kind of things, and sometimes international bodies also do ask us to develop standards in particular sectors. Now there are generic standards that apply to every service provider, because the aim of the service provider, including the news, QTV, whatever it might be, is to deliver news that is accurate, timely, informative, and also to do other services like advertising. Now, how do I make sure that it is to the expectations of my customer? That's the quality of service. And the basis for that is what is called ISO 9001 Quality Management System. That is the de facto standard for making sure that you have quality of service either for a product or a service. There are other additional standards that support this one, but this is the main standard for quality of products and quality of services. And there are specifics sometimes depending on the sector, whether it's tourism, whether it's telecommunications, whether it's customer service. There are standards for all of those ones. And we adopted this particular standard, ISO 9001, with its other supplementary standards, about 10 of them, way back 3 years ago in 2016. All right, and we are promoting it, but we've been focusing more at the industrial level, because one of our roles is to promote industrial development and efficiency in our act. Yeah, but this is one of the standards I can give you for quality of service across the board, regardless, because it's generic. You just apply it according to your own needs, and it's the good thing about it is that it doesn't matter the size of the organization. From a one-man enterprise, one-woman enterprise, all the way to bigger enterprises, multinationals, it's the same standard that you can use. because there are sets of criteria that you just apply. You develop some capacity. We're able to develop some capacity to support. And I would say we've promoted that standard. It has been used before, and at least 2 enterprises were taken to the ECOWAS regional competition for quality of service. In those days, it was GASEM and Gambega. And they were able to win some awards at the international level because they were certified to this ISO 9001.
Mr. Seka, time is against us. I wish we have a lot of time to discuss this. What do you do if a person is fined one thing without setting standards? Someone trying to bypass the standards that you're setting?
Well, for us, at our level, we promote the adoption of these standards because it makes sense to everybody, not only for the safety, but for the business-wise, international trade. For example, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law with respect to a particular requirement, and it must fall within a particular sector or area for which there is already a regulatory body. So really, it wouldn't be our purview to, get the person who is violating and say why you are not complying. If it is food, there's only the Food Safety and Authority. If it is environment, there is only the National Environment Agency. If it is petroleum, there is telecommunications or water and so forth. Partly is pure, partly is now again things like that. So what we do really, for example, to answer that question more clearly, is let's say the issue of cement, because sometimes there are gray areas. You would recall recently, about 2-3 weeks ago, there was this cement sort of issue which came about between the local producers who were saying that the cement that is being imported is of a lower quality. So what we did was to tell everybody that since standards on cement have already been gazetted, it is a requirement that cement products must meet that requirement. We went ahead and promoted and sensitized all the stakeholders on the requirements of that standard. We took samples of those cement samples, took it to an accredited laboratory abroad to test it, so that we advise government so that they have the data and information to base their decision for action. So that's the answer to your question, if you find one thing.
And that's Papa Seka, Director General Gambia Standards Bureau. Thank you very much for coming on this platform. I wish we have more time to discuss a lot of things. But do not hesitate. You can, anytime you want to invite us, we are open to your invitation.
Sure, we will.
Yes, thank you for coming on this platform. Viewers will take a short commercial break. After the break, then we'll talk to NEA, and of course they'll tell us the reason for banning the sniper insecticide and many other issues. We'll be back.
Sniper has been used as the most effective method of driving away insects, including mosquitoes, cockroaches, and more. On the bottle, it is clearly written that it is meant for outdoor use. However, due to ignorance of health dangers, many Gambians use it as an indoor insecticide. Omar Esba, Registrar of Pesticides at the National Environment Agency, says the product is still under investigation in terms of whether there should be an outright ban.
More about the sniper issue, so that finally we will come up with a decision either to finally ban or lift the moratorium that has been imposed earlier this year.
The NEA Program Officer of Hazardous Chemicals and Pesticides, Baibite, says it is important for people to know the chemical products they use.
Let them be reading the labels and then make sure that those that are selling it to them explain what the label entails to them. And then for those that are in the streets, like we call them mostly street pesticides or street vendors, you can see them in the country. They will be roaming from house to house. That is in fact illegal. It's illegal. Before you engage in the business of pesticides, you should be licensed by the agency. Any person that is engaged in the business without a proper license is doing something which is illegal.
The market vendors say they are not aware of the moratorium, but the authorities sometimes seize the chemicals from their shops. They complain that seizing the products will not enforce the moratorium when it is still being imported in the country. Paul Okpara, a market vendor, says sniper is not the only harmful product found in the markets.
The problem is just to sensitize people on how to use it. Saying somebody drank it and he died, the person chose to die. the person chooses to die. The person can as well drink acid. If he drink acid, he will die. There are so many things in the market. Even soda, caustic soda, if you put it inside a tumbler and put water there and drink it, you die.
According to experts, exposure to the chemical can cause irritation of the eye and skin, headaches, vomiting, diarrhea, sweating, and cardiac irregularity, amongst other symptoms. Since prevention is better than cure, and given its clear harmful effects on humans, it is to be hoped that people with disease from using the sniper product as an indoor insecticide, or that the authorities enforce the moratorium sooner rather than later.
Well, he said he chose to die. If you drink it, you will die. If you want to die, you drink it, you will die. All right, we are back again, and of course we have we have Dr. Dauda Baji, Deputy Executive Director, NEA. You're welcome on this platform.
Thank you very much.
Doctor, I will openly say, implementation is your problem. I don't know if you agree or you disagree. Implementation is a problem in the Gambia, not only with the NEA. We'll talk about sniper, but we're still seeing people roaming with snipers in our compounds, and not sniper the gun, but sniper the insecticide. Yeah. Doctor, what can you tell us about this?
Well, I think thank you so much. The agency is very pleased to be here, and then I think it's important that we discuss this thing openly. As you can hear from the news, what was mentioned at that time was a moratorium. A moratorium is not a totally ban issue. It's just trying to let people know that what they are using is actually dangerous to them. So in that we are limiting its use. So in that it will be difficult for you to give a very total, to go and then follow the people. So this is one of the things. So a moratorium is a concern as far as the government is concerned, and now we need to discourage people, and then we need to sensitize people so that they know, like one of them mentioned, sensitize. But the reality is, the sniper is actually not a chemical that's supposed to be used indoors. It's a product that's supposed to be used in our farms. So that is where the misuse lies. So people are using the sniper to kill cockroaches, to kill whatever thing that affect them in the house. So that is a misuse. So that's where now the sensitization comes. I think we did a lot of that, but because it's a moratorium, like one of my colleagues mentioned on TV, that it's not a totally ban, but we need to encourage people. But at some point, when you realize the negatives outweigh the positives, sometimes we are now, that's why of recent we give a press release indicating that the sniper is banned effective after 6 months. So which means now we're going to implement as effectively as possible to ensure that this thing is.
Doctor, when did you release that press release?
I think it's almost a month ago, but we have to give a period because it's almost 6 months. So by October, I think 31st of October, that means when you are seen using the sniper, you are considered to be doing so many illegally possessing material. That is something that is not allowed in the country.
Well, for the issue of the sniper, this have been going on for a very long time.
Yes,
people have been using it for a very long time.
Yeah.
Can I connect this to the case that happened in Basori? Is that the case why you are coming now to ban it, like trying to ban it? As you said, there is a moratorium, not yet banned, but you are encouraging people to make sure they be responsible when using this. Is this the case? Is it the Basori case, if I am to be corrected?
No, I think I never heard of the Basori case. What I know, we were one time summoned by the National Assembly in 2019. We respect people using sniper to kill themselves. Like somebody drank sniper at Edward Francis Small Hospital around that end, and then he died. And these are some of the things that, so the National Assembly then found it fitting that why can't we engage the necessary stakeholders, which include the Minister of Health, the National Environment, and other stakeholders, on what to discuss, what needs to be done. And at that time, those are some of the reasons that we are giving. Essentially, what we said at that time was, yes, it's a chemical that is being misused. And it means, like, for example, if you drink kerosene, you're going to die, like somebody mentioned. If you go and take acid and pour yourself, you're going to die. So, but because people then they are looking at it as a very effective way of addressing some of these pests in their houses. So they are using it. What is important, can we educate the people so that they know that what they are doing is wrong, it is harmful to you and I, because even it is sprayed here, you as a person, you can ingest through even your body system, through inhalation and so many other aspects. So these are some of the things that we want. But I realize that because I think it's a lucrative business, kind of, because that's why people are always, and then maybe they found it to be very effective.
Yeah. Sniper is very famous among insecticides.
Yeah.
Mr. Mboy, people are using sniper to kick the bucket. So, I mean, do you,
well,
the new way of kicking the bucket?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Mboy.
I think we've heard of only one example there.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether one swallow makes a summer. It's not quite that yet.
Well,
that sort of thing. Let's be realistic.
There is an incident.
But I wonder.
I wanted to mention also something. At some point, we also did a study in 20, which was not actually focused on sniper. It was about trying to use of chemicals in the country. And then we realized that chemicals really do a lot of poisoning. But because it's also, most of the chemical you normally go to the, particularly the Lumos or whatever, they don't, if you have labels, you know, he mentioned about labels. So you realize that most of the chemicals that are used, you know, they don't have labels, you just tied it. This can kill bird bugs, this can kill cockroach, this can kill, you know, if you don't know the consequence of what they have. So these are some of the, that study revealed that at least there's a high level of misuse of chemicals at rural level in terms of usage. So this sniper actually came as a, but the reality, even our farmland, I don't think they even use this sniper. Actually, most of the time, it is brought to be indoor rather than outdoor.
Well, for me, I mean, I've not been, I was thinking sniper, it's only for the home, not for the farm.
It was it was actually for agriculture. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, obviously, this insecticide, it's got its uses.
Exactly.
Yes?
Yeah.
So, but for how long have we known about the toxicity, as it were? How long have we known about the risks, the threat it posed when we use it in our home?
Well, actually, when any product that comes in, it has an intended purpose, which is to address what you want it to address. But in an actual sense, it also has an unintended purpose, which means when you use it, then there is likely that the other effect of it will be this. So generally, chemicals are a very good thing to address some of our, but in other aspects, chemicals are also dangerous to our livelihood and the environment. So this sniper issue, the actually intended purpose is for it to be used in agricultural situation. Now, people realize that the chemical can be used to address our indoor problems, and apparently use it. So that makes it even more difficult. But at least this is any chemical you see in any product, you have to know that there are always problems associated with it. Even the phones we are using. They always tell you, if you are very constant with it, you have to use your whatever earphone to avoid radiation and so forth. So those are some of the things that are the other negative aspect that comes in. But now, when now a nation realizes that people are misusing something which has a very detrimental effect on the people, then you have to take a necessary step. So this is now at an alarming rate where, as a country, we realize that it's important that we see how best we can address this issue of sniper. For the fact that not necessarily its use is useless, but because it has an unintended consequences that the people, because of misuse. And this is because of misuse that we are now trying to, because we have talked about this, we've got a lot of sensitization where when people focus on something, particularly if it is, unless you have to put a very firm way of trying to address it. And the only way we can do it, hence they are not using it for agricultural purpose, the only way we can use it is to ban it. And that's the move that we are taking, and that is a collective responsibility. Now, you are here, you never knew the sniper is meant for outside. So now all of us all of us can now play a role when we go to our home, whether it's your neighborhood. If you see something that is, we say, hey, no, what you are doing will harm me, will harm you, will harm.
And do you know, at some point, even in the house, sometimes maybe at where they throw trash, you can see sniper bottles. I mean, and children roam all over those places. Some can even pick this, put some water and play with it. You know.
So this is the concern.
But you also said, this is quite interesting, because you said that you think that you've done enough awareness campaigns. But you could just see the knowledge deficit in him. And too many of us. Because in fact with me as well, before today you don't hear it mentioned. You know, I've had sort of isolated incidents, but to feel that campaign, that widespread campaign for people to know the risks, the dangers they face in using it, I'm not sure whether that's been quite the scale that it should be.
Yes, I think maybe the approach, which is very, we mentioned, and that is also based on certain factors, because frankly, like right now we're running a kind of a lot of advice or whatever publicity with QTV.
I have seen that.
Now if you look at what the cost of that to do that, so when you look at it, that is, so this is more of now, as I said, this is more of a collective responsibility because it affects all of us. So there the media also can come in and see how best we can work together to ensure that the general public really knows the dangers associated with this. Because it's actually very expensive when you want to actually get even 1 hour or whatever on a TV to talk, or even on a radio or whatever. But at least we're doing what we're supposed to do. In fact, we're going to start this publicity on the issue of sniper very soon, so that at least people are aware, because you want to know, people have to know this before. It's just like when you talk about the plastic. Anybody you meet will tell you, yeah, I know the plastic is banned, but this is being used. So now it's become the implementation aspect. And you mentioned a very key, but implementation also goes with other institutions. You know, only one institution that deals with it. And all of us have to be together on the same page to ensure that whatever is meant to be implemented is implemented.
Well,
across the board.
Mr. Baji, I think it's important for you people to focus on sensitizing people. I entered a shop 3 weeks ago. I saw the shopkeeper at a place where he put his drinks. He have his drinks and he have the insecticides near the drinks. And I said to him, you have to separate you know, these things together. The insecticide bottle can explode, and you will never know you sell the drinks to someone. So I think all these things,
I think
you have a lot of work to do.
I think that's a very good observation, which we will also take note of, because you should not be mixing
food items
with insecticide. Even himself, because sometimes he'll use that food. So he himself is even endangering himself, because due to ignorance, there are certain actions that we do. Due to ignorance, it even have a lot of negative implications on you as the person who is doing it. In fact, taking care of the environment, when you see it, you have to do it, because the implication does not end the one who is polluting. So when the ramification comes in, it doesn't know the polluter and the non-polluter. That's why it becomes a collective responsibility. So that we work together to safeguard the environment for ourselves and other creatures that have nothing to say, but they depend on our own indulgence to make sure that environment is good for
Absolutely.
them.
When a Jola man knows his area, I mean, it's always easy. You just let him do the thing. So I am happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
The guy that named the bottle Sniper, the guy that names it the insecticide Sniper, well, the guy can think. I mean, his thinking capacity, it's great. He does not make any mistake naming it a sniper, because it's fast in eliminating. So thank you very much for coming, Mr. Baji, on this platform.
Appreciate it.
And we'll be following development. You know, and
then surely
don't hesitate. You know, QTV, we are partners. You are welcome at any time.
I think we will try to associate with you and then see how best we can put this message forward, so that we are safe from anything that affects us and the environment in general. So we really, on behalf of the Executive Director, we are pleased to be here, and we hope this collaboration will continue.
All right, thank you very much. And viewers, will take a short break. After the break, then we'll go for some entertainment. I mean, we've been on serious thing for almost an hour or so. So now we want to do some playing, and Skengman is already in the studio. We'll be back.
Thank you.
Check out the all-new Tigo 8 at S-Pass Motors. Call 3522-222 or 353-2222 for more information.
Cherry. Your favorite QCell service has gotten bigger. eFunkanta. Now you can loan bigger credit amounts to make life easier for you. Loan $75 and $100 and pay later. Yes, you heard me right. Get credit loan from $10 to $100 using eFunkanta by dialing *393#. Anytime you run out of credit, whether you want to buy Q Power, browse the internet, make urgent calls, or send SMS. eFunkanta is the service for you. Dial *393# and choose the loan amount of your choice with no hassle. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus, the pioneers of mobile loan service in the Gambia. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, Q Money and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your Q Money account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any Q Money agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, Q Power, and other Q Money services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe.
Back, and of course we'll go for some entertainment, and we have Skankman Sweezy. Over to you.
Have fun, bro.
Yes.
For real, man. Good morning, guys. It's been a while, man. I'm Skankman Sweezy. I was in around yesterday, but today, man, different energy, different fire, man. And with me in the studio, I have K.I., Australian artist that is based in the US. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you for having me, man.
It's a pleasure, man.
Nothing but blessings. Nothing but blessings.
On my left-hand side, I have Z-Mat, man. First timer on the morning show. Wagwan, bro.
Yo, man, bro, I'm cool.
Man, cool, bro, man.
Yeah, man. Gambia, it's your boy Zima, the master. Yeah, man.
It's a pleasure, man. So, K.I., let's talk about you, man. Let's talk about you. I want people to know you. This is your first time in the Gambia, and trust me, how has it been so far being in the Gambia?
It's been beautiful. You know, it's really like me seeing different on how people is living and being with them. So it's like, and like the type of love I'm getting, you know, and I wasn't even born for this country. You know, I just came here chasing my dream, meeting more people, and they're showing me love, and it's like, that's all it's about, you know. Because at the end of the day, we all is the same people. We all Africans, you know. So it's not different here. At the end of the day, other people look at us as Africans. So we all gotta be united. And that's how I feel like we the girl, you know. So like me seeing this, I love it, man.
For real,
I really
man.
love Gambia.
Zima, man, first time, boy. It's nice having you on the show, man. For real, man.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about you, man, Zima. Don't forget what really got you into music?
Yeah, comme music bi si deret bi la. Comme nekku ne comme dama ñëw comme boy rek ñëw di xam nga comme di taxale ak yooyu noonu. Comme si deret bi la comme man géwél la.
Wow.
Yeah, so affaire bi si deret bi la.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, man, I want to know your real name. It's something I wanted to ask you, man. Just a Zima. I know Zima is not a name. What is your real name, bro?
Yeah, why like come mun ne ma bala si loolu because xam nga léegi moom da ngaa ree ba test music bi xam nga
no, to me it's not, it's fine.
Yeah, waaye comme sa tur bi xam nga am na nu mu fa dee demee gars yi suñu xamee sa tur bi tam beneen action la dee nekk si déew.
Both of you right.
Yeah, yow xam nga fa.
So, Kai, how is it like doing music in Africa, man? I know you've been doing your music, you started your music in the US and you've been doing your stuff, most of your project in the US as well. But how is it like being a musician in Africa?
It's different. You gotta adjust, you know, because it's different, like melodies. Over here, they like that upbeat thing that's gonna just bam, 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 like. So it's like, but if you got it, you can do it, and if you believe you can do it, you can do it. It's something that like I've been working on ever since even America.
Yeah.
I listen to African music all the time.
Okay.
Like 80% of the music I listen to African music. 20%, no. So it's like I've always had that rhythm in me. So it's like just adjusting. So now me being here just makes me wanna meet the real African beats. You know, get them beats that can really go off. So
actually, I have producers. I'm gonna hook you up with some producers.
I'm excited,
in the
brother.
Gambia as well.
I'm excited.
Zima, man, actually, yeah. How is the Gambian music industry like? Because you've been in it for some time now, and you're doing your thing, man, dropping visuals, good visuals. So how is the Gambian music industry like to you as an artist?
Yeah, léegi moom comme Gambian music mu ngay dem kanam daal. Comme léegi things yi mu ngay gën a dem kanam parce que time boobu noonu ak léegi. Comme affaire yi daal soo ko xoolee bu baax change na léegi. Yeah, parce que time boobu like pour ñu feesal stade bi sa problème la lay nekka. Léegi soo bu am rek ñu jëpp a dee génn si ñëw xam nga ñoo joxe 100 so comme loolu daal kon kontaan naa si trop xam nga maa ngi wax Gambia yëpp comme jërëjëf. Comme nañ ko gën a yokk gën koo pousse rek. Noonu la balaa ngaa dimbale ku nekk si biti nga dimbale ku nekk sa waa dëkka comme daal noonu laa ko gisee daal. So kontaan naa si trop.
So now we're know about your video, brand new video, featuring Hussein Dada, making waves in the Gambia, man. Trust it, man. Clean visuals, the lyrics are all good as well, man. What is all about the video? What comes about the video? What inspired you in doing the video and the song with Hussein?
Yeah, come dama nekk di push like comme yóbbu music bi beneen level parce que soo seetee comme like da ngaa gis comme like music soo ko génnee il faut nga def vidéo parce que loolu mooy wane ne comme loo woy si song bi pour nga won fans yi ne comme lii laa doon woy wala lii laa nekk di wax wala lii laa nekk di explain si song bi yeah so loolu moo tax like comme ma génnee vidéo bi and kay mun naa wax ne like vidéo bi comme tamit mu ngi gën a push song bi wala mu ngi koo yóbbu feneen tamit parce que like ku nekk da ngaa gis ku nekk il faut mu ñëw comme like ok ay boy gis nga boy Zima boy like vidéo bu mu génnee taay so ñëpp il faut ñu dem xool te loolu tam dafa gën a tax vidéo dafa gën a tax comme nit yi xam ma parce que su nekkee di dégga like dance for me wala shake your body a nekkul di gis tam ku ko nekk di woy tam loolu tam beneen affaire
boobu la exactly beneen affaire la so Care, man, let's talk about you still. We're still gonna talk about you, man. Trust me, it's nice seeing you in the Gambia for the first time. And secondly as well, I know you came for a purpose in the Gambia.
Yeah.
And it's been done, man.
Yes.
And the show was massive. I saw you on stage, man. It was fire, man. So, really, you've been in the Gambia so far, and you performed on the show not long ago. And we have, we have a lot of Sierra Leonean people in the Gambia as well, and you're repping Sierra Leone as well, man. What was the response from your fans?
The response from my fans was, they were just like amazed at my energy, you know, because it's not like they knew the lyrics, but it's like they were just looking and listening. And because with me, when I'm performing, I go in like a zone where it's like I'm in my whole different world, different planet. So it's like I'm just loving what I'm doing. I put my emotions, I put everything I love into it, and the reaction of them was just like, wow, like they're seeing that like it don't matter what anybody think, he's doing what he love and what he's saying. It don't matter if you don't like the sound, like everything, you're gonna relate to it. And that's the reaction I got from since I've been in Gambia fans. And it's like everybody left on Monday, but I was like, my job here is not done. My job's not here, is not done. There is no, I'm keep pushing. I like the love that I get here. I like the love that I've been getting, and this game's about connections. You know?
You had
me and the right people there, you don't know. So it's like I'm just chasing.
For real, man. You're just chasing, man.
Dream chasing.
We're going for a quick music break, man. But Z-Man, Now we're gonna introduce a music video to your fans out there. Introduce it, man.
Yo, man. New dance, Zmat X, Hussein Dada. So like video, we get the fruit duff, si wall.
Making rounds, man.
Yeah, man.
Too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going for a quick break, man. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
My Illuminati, I like the way you shake your body. Yeah, oh na na. I said dance it for me, dance for me. I will spend the money. If you want to chop your money, dance for me. I will spend your money. I said dance it for me, dance for me. I will spend your money. If you want to chop your money, dance for me. I will spend your money. It's a new dance. It's a new dance. It's a new dance. This the way we do it. New dance, do that, do that. New dance, do that. This the way we do it. It's a new dance, new dance. I like the way you do that. I like the way you just shake your biggie back and say come. Yeah, come on, come show me how you rock it. Ha. Cause your man never lacking. Real bad man from the starting. Yeah, yeah. I said dance, kill it, dance. Tell me what you like, I will do for you, baby. I said dance, kill it, dance. Tell me what you like, I will buy you Bugatti, Ferrari. I could buy Bugatti. I could buy Lamborghini. I could buy. Oh baby, tell me what you like. I said dance it for me, dance for me. I will spend the money. If you want to chop your money, dance for me, I will spend your money. I said dance it for me, dance for me, I will spend your money. If you want to chop your money, dance for me, I will spend your money. It's a new dance.
Hey man, that's a new dance.
Yeah, man.
It's a new dance.
Get it.
It's a new dance.
Get it.
Hey man.
Yeah, man.
We're having fun, man. We're having fun, for real, man. The video is nice, man.
Yeah,
now,
cool. Thanks.
I'm introducing Kai music video, man. My Gambian people, for the first time, let's take a look at this music video, man. K.I., man, all the way from the US. Be right back.
Beats. Like J-Lo, she go Lolo, cause you that ding ding, cause you that ding ding. I was speaking Creole, that don't stop, that go slow. Won't say no, oh, won't say no, can't tell her no. When she go Lolo, she go Lolo. When she go Lolo, when she go Lolo. Shake it for me, shake it for me. Shake it for me, 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 shake it for me. Too many things that I can't replay, too many things that I can't play. The way she bust it down, you would've thought it was Tatiana. Hey, the way she bust it down, the way she go low, the way she go low. Hey, she want me to go crazy. Why can't go? She want me go crazy. Why can't go? She want me go crazy. Hey, why can't go?
Yeah, man, we having fun. I told you, man. I told you we're having fun today, man. To be honest, man. To me, it's not interview. To me, we're just chilling, man.
Vibing.
We're relaxing, we're vibing, we're chilling, man. Let's talk about this, bro. The song is fire, man. I'm a piano thing, doing your thing, and then I'm a piano beat as well, man. What inspired the song, bro?
What inspires were just like me and my friend. We were just in the house, you know, just living. And then I sent him the beat.
Yeah.
And we just like, cause this is what we do. We just go on flows. Then we just like, hey, boom, boom, and we did. Then that same day we went to the studio, and that next day we did a video. That was like my first song I dropped.
Nice.
So it was just in a matter of 1 to 2 days. The song
was
video
out,
done,
video was done as well.
and we dropped it, and instantly, even the people around me in the video, you know, but this is life. People don't show love.
Exactly.
The people even in the video that was all in there dancing, they didn't show love. So I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, you know?
Exactly.
But then I kept going. I went to a different crowd. I went to my white crowd, and they're the one that started going, and it started being in every club. Now you see everybody in the video now, man. So that's just for anybody out there who like
you don't believe in the talent, man.
You just keep going.
Exactly.
Find a different route.
Yeah.
Because one person, these people, there's so much people in this world, you know what I'm saying? So you can just keep going. Turn dreams to realities, man.
For real, man. Turn dreams to reality,
Dreams to
man.
realities.
Now, Zima, man, let's talk about you and Hussein collabo, man.
Yeah.
How do you manage to get Hussein on the song? Because we all know you was Jizzle's favorite. You've been working with Jizzle, you had a song together with Jizzle.
Yeah.
But how do you manage having Hussein on the collabo as well?
Yeah, comme things that nekkul ne comme benn place la wala comme musique bi dafa yaatu.
Exactly.
So ku nekk mun nga ama collabo ku nekk mun nga dafa ku nekk like music, you know. So like comme man dama gëm suma bopp rek gëm lu ma def rek. Yeah, and like ma link Hussein ma ne ko ne xam nga Hussein tam ku cool la xam nga.
Exactly.
So man ko wax thanks, man ko wax jërëjëf, you know.
So let's talk about your Illuminati thing. I had you saying Illuminati.
No.
Are you one of them now, bro?
No, I dégg naa loolu nag gaa ñi ngay wax loolu nag si dëkk bi nag waaye xam nga comme man du ma wax kenn dara. Yeah, so may def suma def rek, yeah, may nekk suma say di def suma def,
Yeah, so Kai, you've been in the Gambia for 5 days now. Let me ask you this question, man. I know you've learned about our music as well, man. What would you say the Gambian music industry is like?
What I think of it, what I've really seen it, is like it's going up.
Okay.
It's going up, you know? It's just like, it's just the impact where it's like trying to break the barrier now.
Yeah.
Where it can keep up with anybody.
Yeah.
You know, because the talent's here, but it's about the pushing it.
Exactly.
You know, because anybody can have talent, but it's about the pushing. You feel me? It don't matter how much talent you have, if it's not at the right spot. But now I'm seeing my fellow artists, they pushing, they going, they want to break that barrier.
Nah, a quick one. Which artists would you want to have a collaborate in the Gambia? Because I know you're here for music purpose. You're here to do some stuff as well, man. So which artists do you want to have a collaborate?
Like so far, to be honest, me and my mans was talking.
Okay.
You know, and like so far, personal to personal.
Okay.
We've been talking. That's how
we're getting there already. So it's like my show is bringing people together to do collaborations, man. For real, man. We're connecting. And we're no longer interviewing, but we're connecting people, man.
And that's what I mean about they trying. Like his art, like his video you seen that? That's like, I seen that. It reminded me of a movie. And instantly my mind was anything. So he's like, they're pushing. You know, they see, you know, it's like that. So that's
he's
why.
He's putting in the work as well, you know?
So that's why like, I want to be a partner like that.
Yeah, Zima.
Yeah.
Your final words to your fans out there, man. And secondly as well, are you still in good terms with Jizzle?
Yeah, wow. Everything being cool. Why come? Xam nga rek waaye yëpp a ngi cool daal ñu si ko am danka rek xam nga.
You know, trying to, you know, Safana was with your fans out there.
Yeah, so may wax gars yi jërëjëf comme gis naa affaire yi nu fa demee xam nga. Télé yaa ngi play vidéo bi. So ku nekk di seetaan rek daf day jël benn vidéo seen ma ko so loolu comme dafa over nice daal so may wax gars yi jërëjëf ñu dem suma YouTube bi dem subscribe xam nga. So leen tabee Zima rek di ngeen ma gis so noonu la rek.
Final words to your fans out there, man, and we call it a day, man. It was nice having you in the studio, for real, man.
The final word is thank you, Gambia. A word that I got since I've been here is Nagala, Nagadef. I don't know if I said it right.
Exactly.
I don't know if I said it right.
And now I want you to say this Besua.
Besua.
Exactly, man. From my end, I'm saying
thank you, Gambia.
But don't forget, man, link me up on Instagram, Skengman_Sweezy, Facebook, Sweezy B40, and Twitter as well, Skengman Sweezy, man. From my end, I'm saying bye-bye till I come your way tomorrow with some amazing guests as well. Back to you, Balde.
Thank you very much. This is all we have for you. Well, I forgot to acknowledge the receipt of this diary and a pen from Gambia Standards Bureau. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's a good show today.
Exactly.
I got a diary. We got a guest from the US.
Exactly.
And a very talented Gambian artist
as well.
Well, this is all we have for you. Thank you very much for watching. Until we come here again tomorrow, have a wonderful day.